I think in life, if there is no challenges, then it's not really a life at all. Challenges with work, always pushing the glass ceiling, as they say, and the challenges that you have in your life can either make you or break you. Definitely shaped my expectations on myself. We performed on stage with Michael Jackson, met Deepak Chopra, spent time with amazing people. No matter what, the most inspirational person in my life is my dad. He's my go-to, he's my spiritual guide, he's my mental guide. I run 4 businesses, I have 2 amazing kids. You can do anything you want in your life. Further away we are traveling from faith and religion. I see myself as Australian. I don't see myself as Indian. I am Australian. True and true. My personal contribution to Australia is being the bridge. Hi, my name's Jamel Kaur Singh. I came to Australia over 40 years ago. I was born in England. My parents from Malaysia, my ancestry from North India, Punjab. And I went through my entire education here in Australia. After high school, I was in the Australian Defence Force while I was doing my bachelor in Aboriginal Administration Management. I've had a very eclectic work life, doing everything from running hotels and hospitality through to real estate and finance. My passion is real estate and finance, but I'm constantly changing, constantly evolving. I've just finished my MBA and going through the process of starting my doctorate, which will be a few year process, but I think on a whole, it's about evolving, changing, staying with the times. And obviously, as the daughter of Daya Singh and Jamel Kaur Singh, I've had a very influential base in Sethi, in faith, in principles, in interfaith work. Mum's obviously a peace advocate who's done all this amazing work all around the world. And so I've been very involved from a very young age in the interfaith and multi-faith scene. And then with Dad's music, we've travelled the world to festivals and events and kirtan all around the world to mainstream audiences. Dad made it a point to take kirtan out of the gurdwaras and to make it more inclusive and spread the word of Guru Nanak and all of our gurus to the mainstream audiences. And I guess it has led to this amazing life that we've had. Mother of 2. My daughter's about to be 23 and Safal is 21, both doing very well in their own worlds, in studies and in life in general. I'm a very lucky person.
What was your first job?
My first job was delivering papers on my bike, on my bicycle to the area, and we lived in Adelaide Hills. It was a very hilly area, so it wasn't exactly conducive, but I used to pay my sisters 20 cents, 50 cents to help me sit there and fold all the pamphlets, and then I'd put them into my bike and go deliver them, or I'd bribe them to come with me for a walk and deliver them. That was my first job when I was about 12, 13 years old. After that I worked in the deli, and while I was doing my year 10, 11 and 12, I actually worked in after school and before school care. So I've had a lot of jobs starting from a very early age.
What challenges have you encountered and how did you overcome them?
I think in life, if there is no challenges, then it's not really a life at all. For someone as, well, I guess the right word might be rebellious as me, I have faced a lot of challenges. I've been through my share of relationships and marriage dilemmas, challenges with work, always pushing the glass ceiling, as they say. I think I've constantly had this notion that I can do better and I can do better. And I think the biggest challenge for me is the pressure and expectations I put on myself.
What would you consider as most significant turning points or milestones in your life?
I've had a lot of milestones in my life. I finished, because I'd come from England at such a young age, I actually finished my year 12 when I was 16. So when I started uni, I was 2 years younger than everybody else. In the Defence Force, I was one of the very first coloured females in the Australian Defence Force. There were challenges in that. So I was constantly having to prove myself. Milestones, having kids is definitely the big milestone, from going from someone who's a powerhouse executive in real estate working 70, 80 hours a week to all of a sudden becoming a mum. And I did that at the age of 23 as well. So I think that realization that I couldn't go back to work on a full-time basis, that was hard. Then being a single mum for so many years, that was hard. But, you know, these are the things that make you who you are. And the challenges that you have in your life can either make you or break you. So it's about pursuing them head on and seeking the right advice and the right help, and not being afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Are there specific moments in your life that you consider defining moments and that shaped what you are today?
There has been some very defining moments in my life. I know when I started in real estate, and then I ended up having Sahil, and I couldn't go back to real estate. One of my mentors, John Sivak, he asked me to come and do finance broking. We started Fin Plus, and this was 20 plus years ago. When he passed, he had a heart attack and passed away. And I think that was a very defining moment for me, because I was a single mom. I was running a big company with a few brokers and all the overheads and everything that went along with that. I think that was a very defining moment in my career. And it's interesting because I've constantly looked back to that as where I need to draw my strength from. If I can get through that, I can get through anything. I was teaching at RMIT in Holmesglen, and then got into broking and out of broking and back into broking. But then through COVID, obviously that put a real pickle in everything. But during COVID, I had the best couple of years. Everybody went through a lot of heartache and pain, but I managed to monetize Dad's music. I learnt how to create videos, did a sound engineering course, started my MBA, and I was running Fin Plus with all the new technology. I think the defining moments in my life, there's too many, but being on stages around the world with Daya Singh has definitely shaped my expectations on myself.
Who has been a significant influence or inspiration in your life, and why?
I've had a lot of inspirational people in my life. We've met the Dalai Lama. We performed on stage with Michael Jackson, met Deepak Chopra, spent time with amazing people. With my parents the way they are, we were always open to being with amazing people. But no matter what, the most inspirational person in my life is my dad. He's my go-to. He's my spiritual guide. He's my mental guide. And the funny thing is, throughout our lives, he's my best friend. Throughout our lives, he's always said to me, Jamel, do you want me to answer this as your father or as your friend? Because obviously a father's advice and a friend's advice is going to be very different. And I think that openness in the relationship that we had from a very early age has meant that I've had this amazing sturdy rock. Mum was always the disciplinary one in the household. Dad was the one that just let us go and let us be free. And so if I had to pick one person that was the most inspirational and motivational in my life, it'd have to be Dad.
In a world filled with constant demands and opportunities, how do you maintain a balance between your professional and personal life?
Maintaining a balance between personal and professional has been probably one of the biggest battles I've had in my life. I'm a bit of a workaholic. I run 4 businesses. I have 2 amazing kids. My parents live with me. I run all of the Daya Singh tours and music and everything. There's a lot on my plate. And I think one of the biggest things that I probably didn't do as well as I should is the balance between my personal and my professional career. For me, the motto was always work hard, play hard. And I made sure that the kids were always included in everything I did, and made sure that the family was always taken care of, which probably left me not enough time to spend on me. I've been trying to get to the gym since the 1st of January. We're now halfway through January and I still haven't got to the gym once. And I think that deterioration on myself is hard. And I've had cancer and done all of that sort of stuff as well. But you get through these things, you know, you have to do what your body's telling you to do. And that is definitely something that I haven't done well enough in this lifetime. Maybe next lifetime. We'll see how I go. Cervical cancer, precancerous cells first when I was about 20. Luckily, I had the kids when I was young. Ended up with endometriosis by the time I was early 30s. Had a full hysterectomy at 38. Cancer cells came back 2 years ago, last year actually, and then had them all burnt out and all that sort of stuff. And you know, you just keep going. Life's too short. You've got to live in this jodhikala moment, and that's why if I can do something today, I won't wait till tomorrow.
Where do you see yourself in coming years?
In the coming years, it's interesting. At the end of every year, ever since I was probably about 16, my dad has made me write my goals. I have to do a review of my previous year's goals, 1-year goal, 5-year goal, long-term goals. It's something that we got brought up with, and we've tried to emulate in everyone that we speak to. And I think writing goals is a really important thing. And it's interesting. Last year, I opened up a new business, started the buyers advocacy business, Focus Buyers. I finished my MBA, traveled to 6 countries, started coaching netball, won a netball grand finals for my own team. Every year you go through and it's like, yep, tick, 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 tick. What am I going to do? How am I going to top that? And it's interesting, this year I've kind of got to the end of last year and I was like, how am I going to top last year? It was an amazing year. And I think this year I've decided I'm really going to focus and put time and effort into myself. I need to lose the kilos that I put on during COVID and haven't bothered losing since. I need to focus on my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self. So my goal for the next year is to earn lots of money because I need to be able to pay all the bills, concentrate on my physical health. And then for me, long term, I'd like to see my books in all the schools in Australia. I think, and they're not even to make money, they're just to start the process of really creating cultural understanding and showing the uniqueness and the beauty, the unity within our diversity. So long-term goals is to get the books into all the schools, write more books, and then the other thing I'd really like to do is create more financial literacy. It's something that's also not taught in schools, especially within our own communities, is to help them create more financial understanding to make better financial decisions into the future.
What's one piece of advice you wished you had received when you started your career, and how would have it shaped your journey today?
I think I was really lucky growing up because I was the daughter of Daya Singh. So where it came to advice, Dad was always very open and allowed the 3 of us to follow our passions. I remember him saying to us when we were kids, you can do anything you want in your life. Don't become a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant, just because he didn't want us to have to conform. And I think one of the things that I wish I'd done from an early age was to invest in property young. So both my kids own property, and I've made sure that I've given them that responsibility to, instead of going out and buying brand new great cars with car loans and things like that, invest in property first. You can have all the nice toys later, start in property. And I think that was one of the things that I wish I had done more of when I was younger, or understood more of. And I think one of the biggest ways to do that is to surround yourself with people that have made it. There is no point asking my dad about which car to buy because he wouldn't know a thing about cars. There is no point asking Uncle Joe Blow down the street about property if they don't have properties themselves. Whatever it is that you're wanting in your life, seek advice and surround yourself in the people that have what you have. And I think if I'd done more of that, that probably would have been very beneficial. There's no point asking someone who has no idea about real estate or no idea about being an accountant about your accounts. So seeking that advice from the specific people that are experienced and educated in that field is something I wish I'd done from a long time ago.
Can you tell us something almost nobody agrees with you on?
There are a lot of things in my life that people don't agree with me on. It's kind of who I am. But if I had to pick one in the current world in which we live, it would be that the deterioration of mental health, I feel, is very much attributed to people's loss in religion, in faith, in prayer. And I think the further people move away from religion and faith and prayer, the more a deterioration of our mental health. If you don't have faith in something, if you don't have a pathway to somewhere, if you don't have belief, it doesn't matter which pathway, it doesn't matter which direction you're going, which religion you're from, but at the end of the day, the essence of those religions, there's a lot of man-made stuff that people don't like, and I can understand the deceptions of the last few thousand years of how that has deteriorated. But at the end of the day, the true essence of each of the religions has the capacity to help you get through the trials and tribulations in which world we live in and cope with the rat race of life. And I think the further we see our youth and our previous generations, the further away we are traveling from faith and religion, the more our mental health is going to deteriorate as a society.
How do you promote cultural understanding in the community that bridge the gap between Australia and Indian cultures?
Promoting cultural understanding in our wider community is something that I've been very passionate about for a long time. Fortunately, unfortunately, I'm 3-4 generations away from India, and I have always seen myself as Australian. I don't see myself as Indian. But the thing that has happened is over the years, from a very young age, Mum and Dad made sure we did kirtan, made sure we spoke the language, make sure we could take a vak, but also made sure that we knew how to do bolia, do bhangra, do Kathak dancing, and be entrenched in Indian culture to that aspect. And I think, so one of the things I do is I promote cultural education in schools, and I do that actually through Bollywood dancing. And so it's about bridging the gaps. You know, I'll get Dad to come up on stage and I'll say, this is Daya Singh and his ancestry is from India, and he'll come out on stage to all these kids and he'll be, hello, my name is Daya Singh and I am from India. Nah, just joshing for you, I'm actually from Adelaide. You know, he has this very larrikin way and approach that he's had that. And I think there's no better way of promoting Indian culture than the way Dad has been doing it for the last 20 years on stages around the world, talking in diplomatic as well as multicultural arenas around the world. Dad gets up and he says, I am Australian. He doesn't look like what people perceive as Australian. And I think that has been the best way to promote it. And I think every parent needs to get up and make sure their school understands what culture their kid belongs to, why they do the things they do, why we wear a badka, what's the importance of our hair, all those sorts of things. Those are the things that I think needs to be done more. And I'm hoping that things like this will actually encourage parents to just get up and go to their school and talk to their school about who they are and why they are who they are.
What is your contribution to Australia? How can we give back to this beautiful country we live in?
There are so many ways that people can contribute back to Australia. I am Australian. True and true, I am the epitome of what an Australian is. My first degree was in Aboriginal Administration Management. I have very strong ties and connections with the First Nations communities here in Australia, as well as all the other faiths. And I think my personal contribution to Australia is being the bridge, being the conduit that can help bridge and connect communities and create cultural understanding and inclusion in this truly remarkable country in which we live.
Anything else you want to add on?
I think at the end of the day, I'm hoping that more people will just be inspired to tell their stories. And I think what you're doing here at G'day India is an important and integral part of writing those stories. In a lot of cultures, they call it the yarning circles and stuff. But I think getting everybody's stories down is so important, and also creating inspiration for the people that are coming to Australia new. We're not going to put up with domestic violence here. We're not going to put up with putting down women. We're not going to put up with girls not being educated properly or not being able to play sports. Those are things that, unfortunately or fortunately, our communities still have that. It's part of the DNA of a lot of the Eastern cultures, not just Indian, Eastern cultures in general. And I think hopefully the promotion of more things like this and empowering women to be as best as they can be and going out and getting their dreams fulfilled and pursuing them at all costs, making sure they know that there's people that they can reach out to. I want to be here for anyone that needs that kind of support to be able to walk away from things that are not right and stand up and say no more. So yeah, I think that's about where I'm at in my life, and I'm hoping to mentor and empower so many more people. And I think as Sikhs, we're definitely making our mark here in Australia. I mean, during COVID, it was the Sikhs that got in touch, the government got in touch with the Sikhs to say, can you help feed this building? We don't know what to do with all these people that have different taste buds. And it's the Gurdwaras that can provide. The bushfires, it was our people that were out there providing water, providing food. We're making our mark in politics, in the social arenas, in the music arenas. I mean, look at El Fresh and all the work he's doing. And I think as Sikhs, I'm really proud to be a part of that. Hi, my name's Jamel Kaur Singh, and this is G'day India.